corpse, Tu narrowed his eyes slightly. The faint motion of his brow, the only sign that the strange corpse-born cultivator had felt surprise. His gaze lingered on Ling Han as if trying to peel apart every hidden secret within him. "Just now," Corpse 2 said slowly, his voice calm and scholarly, "there was a fleeting instant when your body vanished from the range of my divine sense. That moment must have something to do with how you expelled the corpse poison from your body." Ling Han gave a relaxed nod, as if the matter were nothing remarkable. "You're right." Corpse 2's curiosity deepened. "Then tell me, what method did you use?" Ling Han smiled faintly, a hint of amusement flashing in his eyes. "Since you've explained so many things to me already, I suppose it's only fair I answer something in return. I possess a certain treasure capable of dispelling corpse poison. That's all there is to it." Inside Corpse 2's mind, disbelief surged like a raging tide. Impossible. He knew better than anyone what kind of poison it was. The corpse poison flowing through his bones had fermented within a corpse for more than 30,000 years. In his previous life, he had once stood at the peak of the world, a supreme expert whose knowledge eclipsed that of most cultivators alive today. No medicinal pill, no divine elixir, no worldly medicine should have been capable of purging such a toxin. It was like asking a heaven-tier cultivator to defeat a shattering void-tier overlord. The gap was simply insurmountable. At most, Ling Han should have been able to slow the poison's spread, nothing more. Yet somehow, the corruption had vanished completely. What kind of treasure could possibly erase a corpse poison that had matured for 30,000 years? Corpse 2 could neither comprehend it nor accept it. Ling Han clenched his fist lightly, the air around him humming with restrained power. "Enough talk," he said calmly. "You won't reveal the secrets of the Thousand Corpse Sect, and I certainly won't reveal my trump card. So there's nothing left to discuss. From here on, fists will decide the truth." Corpse 2's lips curved into a faint smile. "When I kill you and refine you into a corpse soldier," he replied calmly, "your secret will naturally become mine. After all, when someone first becomes a corpse soldier, their memories still linger for a short time before fading away." His tone was gentle, almost like that of a teacher giving a lecture, completely at odds with the chilling subject of conversation. Ling Han shook his head. "You won't get that chance." Within his mind, countless calculations flickered. He still possessed many hidden trump cards. If necessary, the Black Tower could grant him a terrifying surge of power that would elevate his battle strength to the shattering void tier, enough to obliterate a heaven tier opponent with a single strike. But that power could only be used once. Such a trump card had to be saved for a truly decisive moment. Corpse 2 clenched both fists as well, his skeletal fingers tightening with a faint crackling sound. "Then, let's see whose strength proves greater." Ling Han answered with a battle cry that echoed across the desolate terrain. He moved first. Earlier he had been ambushed, nearly dragged into death itself. If not for the mysterious protection of the Black Tower, he would already have become a lifeless puppet under the control of the Thousand Corpse Sect. That brush with death had left anger burning in his chest like a furnace. From now on, he would never allow himself to grow careless again. Once one had stood at the gates of hell and returned, their resolve only hardened. The battle began. Corpse 2 stepped forward to meet him head-on, completely fearless. At first, both men moved cautiously, probing each other's abilities, like two swordsmen testing the weight of their opponent's blade. Neither dared unleash their full power before understanding the other's strength, but as fists clashed and shockwaves rippled through the air, the intensity of their battle steadily climbed. Ling Han raised both hands. Golden light erupted. The earth overturning seal. The moment the ancient technique activated, dazzling radiance flooded the battlefield. Combined with Ling Han's powerful physique and surging origin power, his combat strength surged dramatically, crossing the boundary between tiers. His battle power had reached the heaven tier. Corpse 2's fists crashed forward like falling mountains, yet his face remained strangely expressionless. The muscles of his newly reborn body still seemed unfamiliar to him. "To break through a great tier while only at the deity transformation realm," he said evenly, "you truly are remarkable." Ling Han laughed lightly. "How else would I be able to kill you?" "Kill me." Corpse 2 suddenly burst into laughter. Where does such confidence come from? Very well. Allow me to show you my true strength. A chilling sound followed. From the backs of his fists, jagged bone spikes slowly grew outward like blades emerging from pale flesh. The sight sent a chill through Ling Han's heart. Earlier, those same spikes had pierced his body, infecting him with that dreadful corpse poison. He could not underestimate them. Ling Han wrapped his hands in layers of origin power, and once again unleashed the earth-overturning seal. Golden light roared across the sky like a rising sun. At the same time, he activated the Eye of Truth. His battle power surged once more, rising to 2 stars within the Heaven tier. Yet after crossing a major cultivation boundary, increasing even a single star of strength became extremely difficult. Even when another mystical power joined the battle, his strength only climbed by that small margin. Across from him, Corpse 2 launched a relentless barrage of punches. Fists fell like torrential rain. He showed absolutely no hesitation about engaging in close combat, and he had the right to be confident. His bones had remained intact for 30,000 years without decay. This was not merely because they had rested in a land of extreme where decays load. It was also because in life he had been a powerful body cultivator. Only such a physique could endure the erosion of tens of thousands of years. Thus his body was terrifyingly tough. Close combat held no fear for him. At all, for a Timoth, the two exchanged blows directly. After several fierce collisions, Ling Han quickly realized the truth. Corpse 2's physique was even stronger than his own. Shattering Void Tier, the advantage was simply overwhelming. In his previous life, Corpse 2 had already cultivated his body to that supreme level. Now, although his cultivation had restarted from the body refining tier, his bones still possessed the indestructible toughness of the Shattering Void realm. Of course, that strength was fixed. Unless Corpse 2 one day returned to the Shattering Void tier and encountered a miraculous opportunity, his physique would not grow any stronger. But even so, it was already terrifying. Ling Han quietly activated the demonic patterns within his body. Oh, think you're unstoppable. Let's see how you handle this. Boom! The earth-overturning seal crashed against Corpse 2's fist. One of the protruding bone spikes shattered instantly. For the first time, Corpse 2 showed genuine astonishment. Those bone spikes were merely extensions of his bones, yet their hardness was no less than his original skeleton. And yet, one had been destroyed in a single strike. He fixed his gaze on Ling Han's left hand. Dark rays flickered within his eyes as if he were examining something invisible. After a long moment, he frowned. "The power of laws," he murmured. "How can that be? You're only in the deity transformation tier. How could you possibly wield the power of laws?" Ling Han's eyes flickered with interest. "So you know about the power of laws as well?" The arrogant Black Tower rarely explained such things clearly, leaving Ling Han to piece together fragments of knowledge on his own. Now he seized the opportunity to extract information. Corpse 2 snorted. Only after reaching the 9th layer of the Shattering Void tier does one gain the qualification to come into contact with the power of laws. His gaze sharpened. Unless you are the reincarnation of a Shattering Void tier expert. Ling Han's heart stirred, so that was the requirement. Yet outwardly his expression remained unchanged. Feigning ignorance while fishing for answers required a steady mind. He smiled lightly. "You were such an extraordinary figure in your previous life. Don't tell me you can't use the power of laws yourself." Corpse 2's face darkened. What he had inherited was merely the toughness of his former body. The martial intent and profound comprehension of heavenly Dao from his previous life had not followed him into this rebirth. If those memories had remained, he would have risen to dominate the world the moment he awakened. Instead, he still had to climb the martial path, step by step. Even so, reaching the heaven tier again in only 20 years was already an unimaginable miracle. With his powerful body and familiarity with his previous cultivation path, he encountered almost no bottlenecks. Each realm could be perfected with terrifying efficiency. But the power of laws, that required true comprehension of heavenly Dao. Only after reaching the 9th level of the Shattering Void tier could he begin cultivating it again. The body alone had nothing to do with it. That was why he believed Ling Han must be the reincarnation of a Shattering Void expert. Otherwise, how could such a young cultivator wield the power of laws? "So you can't use it," Ling Han said with a booming laugh. The next moment, his attack surged forward like an unstoppable tide. After all, if the power of laws truly required the 9th layer of the shattering void tier, then right now, he was the only one on this battlefield who possessed it. A cold wind swept across the battlefield as Corpse 2 let out a chilling snort. His eyes glimmered with sinister amusement as he glared at Ling Han. Humph. Just because you have grasped a trace of the power of laws, you dare believe you can challenge the natural order? His voice carried the arrogance of one who had walked the path of death and returned. As the final word fell from his lips, his arm swung outward in a swift arc. From within his sleeve appeared a strange weapon, a bone mallet about a meter long. Its surface gleamed pale white beneath the light, yet it was crisscrossed with intricate golden vein-like patterns. But if one looked closely, they would notice something unsettling. Several of those veins had already turned black. Ling Han's pupils shrank. Without hesitation, his body crackled and dissolved into a streak of lightning as he retreated swiftly through the air. Even as he withdrew, he could not help frowning. "Damn you," Ling Han said with a crooked smile. "You actually pulled out your own femur and turned it into a weapon. I have to give you credit for that." It was unmistakable. The weapon in Corpse 2's hand was a human thigh bone, and not just any bone. Its aura was terrifyingly heavy, as though it carried the weight of countless battles. Ling Han could already guess the truth. It most likely came from Corpse 2 himself. After all, finding someone who had been both a physical cultivator and a shattering void tier expert was almost impossible. Only a handful of such beings had ever existed. Corpse 2 stood tall and motionless, the bone mallet resting casually in his hand like the staff of a grim reaper. "Yes," he said calmly. "It was refined from the femur I extracted from my own body in my previous life." His tone carried a strange pride. "Tell me," he continued slowly, "when speaking of spirit tools, what weapon could possibly be more suitable than something forged from one's own body?" The logic was undeniable, and yet it sent a chill down Ling Han's spine. Ling Han shook his head and sighed dramatically. "Well, if you put it that way, I suppose I have nothing to say," he replied. "But honestly, you're terrible at conversation. My feelings are wounded." "Enough nonsense." Corpse 2's eyes turned cold. In the next instant, the white bone mallet swept through the air as he charged forward. The weapon carried the aura of the 9th layer of the shattering void tier. Within it lingered the martial intent of the terrifying expert Corpse 2 had once been. If Ling Han were struck even once, there would be no survival. Even though Ling Han possessed a fragment of the power of laws, he had no intention of receiving such a blow head-on. Corpse 2 himself could not wield the laws anymore, but the bones of his former body, those might still contain them. After all, he had once stood at the very peak of the shattering void tier. "When I fully refine this bone," Corpse 2 said coldly as he advanced, "even shattering void tier warriors will fall beneath my strike." Ling Han's gaze flicked to the bone mallet again. His eyes settled on the thin black veins spreading across its surface. So that was the key. Corpse 2 had chosen the path of corpse cultivation, a twisted road very different from the martial arts of living warriors. Yet the bones still belonged to the same body. It would never reject him. When every golden vein upon that mallet turned black, Corpse 2 would fully control it. And at that moment, the mallet would unleash the terrifying might of a 9th layer shattering void expert. The thought alone was horrifying. Ding! Ling Han's sword flashed forward. Steel met bone as the blade intercepted the descending mallet. "Don't think you're the only one blessed by fate," Ling Han said with a grin. "Treasures and opportunities aren't exclusive to you." The weapon in his hand glimmered brilliantly. The Revere life sword, Weng. As the two weapons collided, the formations within the sword awakened instantly. At the same time, one of the veins on the bone mallet pulsed with eerie power. In that instant, the aura of the shattering void tier erupted. The air itself trembled violently. Space cracked like fragile glass, thin fractures spreading through the sky around them. This was no ordinary clash. This was a collision between supreme weapons. Both men were forced back simultaneously. Each of them held a weapon far beyond their current cultivation. Neither dared unleash their full strength recklessly. Corpse 2 narrowed his eyes and studied the sword carefully. A sword formed from layered formations, he muttered slowly. Your fortune truly is extraordinary. Ling Han twirled the blade lightly, its edge singing through the air. What can I say? He replied with a laugh. Luck favors me. Corpse Two's expression darkened. To rise as a king, to possess such a destiny, and to obtain treasures like this, he murmured. Then his voice turned cold. I cannot allow someone like you to live. Ling Han snorted. You say that like you didn't come here to kill me in the first place, he said mockingly. Come on, then. Let's fight for 300 rounds. I'm not afraid of you. Corpse 2 surged forward once more. His confidence was immense. His body itself had already reached the shattering void tier. Even if he faced true experts of that realm, he might not necessarily fall. The bone mallet swept through the air again. The wind it created alone was enough to collapse mountains and split rivers. Seeing the terrifying force approaching, Ling Han immediately waved his hand. Zhu Zhuaner and the others disappeared into the Black Tower. If they were caught even slightly by such power, they would die instantly. Ling Han stepped forward to meet the attack. The Revere Life Sword roared with power as it blocked the destructive might of the bone mallet. Now the battle had changed. What they competed with was no longer their own strength, but how well they could control the supreme weapons in their hands. Hung! Hung! Their clash shook the earth. Mountains trembled. The ground split open. Shockwaves rippled across the land like a raging sea. This was a battle approaching the shattering void tier. Though it could not yet shake the stars from the sky, its destructive force was already terrifying. Half a day passed in relentless combat. Gradually, their strength began to fade, and it was at this moment that Ling Han's monstrous nature revealed itself. After all, he was the Alchemy Emperor. Medicine. 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 Ling Han calmly swallowed pill after pill. The effects erupted instantly within his body. His origin power surged upward like a rising tide, returning almost instantly to its peak condition. This was not merely the effect of spirit medicine. Over countless days and nights, Ling Han had consumed enormous amounts of tonic herbs. Their energy had long ago seeped into his flesh, blood, and bones. Now, with the stimulation of the pills, all of that hidden power burst forth. His body returned to perfect condition. Even his physical strength surged back. Ling Han stretched his limbs. Crack! Crack! His bones rang like thunder. Corpse Two's expression changed. This was the weakness of corpse cultivation. The medicinal pills that aided martial artists were completely useless to him. Ling Han stood before him once again in perfect condition. But Corpse 2? His strength had already been greatly depleted. How could this battle continue? Of course, Ling Han could not easily kill him. Corpse 2's body was still at the shattering void tier. His defense alone made him extremely difficult to destroy. But even so, after gaining such an advantage, would he really have to flee? Ling Han smiled faintly. So, he said lightly, do you still have the confidence to kill me now? Corpse 2 snorted coldly. You think you can deal with me? He replied. Don't forget, I came here as an assassin. Perhaps the mission failed, but if I decide to leave, you can do nothing but watch. He hoped to shake Ling Han's confidence, but Ling Han merely laughed. He had lived far too long to be swayed by such words. There's an old saying, Ling Han said calmly. A monk may flee, but the temple remains. He lifted his sword slightly. Right now I cannot keep you here, but remember this, when I reach the shattering void tier, that will be the day the 1,000 corpse sect is destroyed. His voice carried the weight of absolute certainty. Remember my words, pass them on to your sect. If you wish to live, then leave the 1,000 corpse sect now, and hide somewhere for the rest of your life. Corpse 2's expression shifted again. This brat spoke with outrageous arrogance, yet the sword in Ling Han's hand. It truly was terrifying. The stronger the opponent became, the more powerful it seemed to grow. Even the 1,000 corpse sect's master, the 9th Underworld King himself, might struggle to kill this youth. Corpse 2's eyes narrowed. Assassination. Yes, another assassination. Only by striking when Ling Han could not use that sword properly could he be killed. I may have failed today, Corpse 2 said calmly, but that doesn't mean others will. You remember what I told you earlier? There is someone above me, Corpse Boss. His voice grew colder. His strength is several times greater than mine. The next time you see us, It might be him who attacks. Ling Han raised his chin proudly. I welcome it. His cultivation was advancing rapidly. By the time Corpse Boss appeared, he might already stand at the peak of the deity transformation tier. At that point, even high-level heaven-tier warriors would not be difficult opponents. Corpse 2's expression returned to perfect calm. Don't be too confident, he said slowly. Corpse Boss has been cultivating within the pond of the underworld for many years. When he emerges, he may already have reached the Shattering Void tier. Ling Han simply snorted. Shattering Void tier? So what? He still had one final trump card, the power of the Black Tower. If pushed to the brink, he would unleash it. Then they would see who truly ruled this battlefield. Ling Han's eyes shone with fearless determination. Good, he said. I'll be waiting.